Good morning. Happy almost weekend to everybody. This is Lisa at Scrapping Fancy. And I said that I would have another video and an announcement. And so this is finally that video. And what I would like to announce is that I am now a design team member for Fiona of Lavender Blue Journals. She has a shop on Etsy that has a huge range of printables, just about anything that you could want. So I'm pleased and happy to be working with her, and this is my first design team project for her. So I want to flip through it and show you how well this printable that I got from her worked, and also just talk a little bit about working with acetate and vellum, because that was kind of my focus for this tag book, and probably a lot of people know how to work with it, but if you don't, I just kind of have some tips and thoughts, and we'll just take a closer look at the journal because it's really hard to do that in reels and photos. So anyway, let's get started. This was tied. This ties in a bow, but I already had it untied for a reel, so I just left it untied. But that is the bow that goes around it. And this is the first little panel, which has two frames with acetate inside, layered, and then layered again onto paper. So I don't know if you can tell, but there's acetate and then a blue piece with gold polka dots, and then that is set on this back of the panel with these gold leaves. I wanted to try to be kind of as intricate and interesting as I could get with the papers, the acetate, and the vellum. And all these pieces of acetate that you're going to see are available in Fiona's shop, Lavender Blue Journals. They're available as black and white collage sheets. So that's really handy because you could print them on any paper and any color you wanted. I just knew when I saw them that I wanted to print them on the acetate so that I could have some fun with frames and flips and layers. I should also say too that this journal is available in my Etsy shop at the time of this video. And my Etsy shop and Fiona's Etsy shop will be linked below, along with anything else that I mention. I'll try to remember to link it below, and if I don't, give me a shout out and I'll tell you, because the thing with acetate is not all acetate can be printed on. You'll print on it, you'll pull it out of the printer, and ink will just wipe off, and it won't dry over time. So you want to be sure that you get printable acetate. Printable acetate will come in a package, and on one side of the package there'll be a sticker that says printable side. So be sure you know how to load your paper or your acetate in your printer so you know what side it prints on as it goes through the printer. Load it correctly for the printable side of the acetate, and when it comes out of your printer, the ink will be permanent. It won't smear, it won't go anywhere. If you get it wet, it will smear. So you can't really alter the acetate. Like if you were going to try to use somehow like a glue or a paint on the acetate, once the acetate is wet, then the ink will rub and smear. So that's just a little note about printable acetate and how you work with that. So this is that first little panel, and then this just has one jump ring, and then this is the inside of those panels. So a frame on handmade paper, and I used these Tim Holtz chipboard quotes. I just love those, but I don't often find an occasion to use them as much as I'd like. So I really loved using them in this tag book. That was really fun. So that flips like that, and then it flips like this. So I could take everything out. I don't know if I will, but remember, when you see clips in my journals, this is removable. So you can take stuff out and play with it like this. Like that's a little handmade paper belly band. And this is just a little film strip with acetate layered under it on this wonderfully textured handmade paper. So that's like a little tag under that belly band. And it can stay in there or come out, whatever you like. And you can put things in behind it like journaling or photos or things you like. So this folds back over like this. And this next piece is a little kind of a book within the journal. You can see here that this is the jump ring for the main part, but these are the jump rings for this little book inside. Was that hard to set up and figure out? Let's just say yeah, and we'll leave it at that. But I got it. So I just want to keep kind of playing with the tag book format because I'm having just the best time with it ever. And I want to give a shout out on that note to Heather at Ruby and Pearl XO, because the whole tag book idea started with Heather and her video about tag books. So be sure to go check her out too. This butterfly is done with gilding flakes. If you haven't worked with gilding flakes before, that's a whole big rabbit hole, but it's a lot of fun. So I love how that turned out. That's why that butterfly is so shiny, is it's some multicolored metallic gilding flakes. So, and again, this little frame here, this acetate frame comes out, vellum on the back, and then it goes back under the clip. And then this side is a longer film strip tag. So you can take that off if you want to. If you want to put it on something else, put it in a different place, or you can keep it there. It's up to you. When I make these, I like to try to give you a lot of options. And then under here, there's just another frame with a quote and this really cool textured paper on the back. I want to say I got that at Michael's, like in the single sheet section in the fancy paper. And there's that one, and this one does have some journaling paper on the back if you want to journal. So let's carefully put that back under, and then we'll put this little quote back under. And then remember, if you want to move that somewhere else, you can, or you can leave it there just for fun for you. And then this page is going to turn, and then this, we'll be sure to take this out because there's something underneath it. So this is a little tag. So the acetate is inside the frame, and then there's vellum underneath, and then this gold embossed paper. And there's also a back to this tag. So the way that I do this, and I wanted to tell you guys this, and what I find easiest is I take my frame and I move it around on my piece of acetate till I find kind of how I want to orient the image on the acetate inside the frame. Then I put glue on the back of the frame, lay it down on the acetate where I want it. Be sure to give the glue a minute, and then cut around it. So that's really to me, that's the easiest way to be sure that I get what I want inside the frame, but I don't have to do any nasty measuring or all those things that we hate. Or if you like to measure, good for you, and you go ahead and do it. I just am not good at it. And this one is cool because this, underneath this butterfly, I have a dot stencil, and I use some glitter paint to go through the dot stencil. And I loved how that turned out. That was fun. And then this is just decorating this back of the panel. And that goes under the frame. And then this, of course, comes out. And that's a frame again with a quote and vellum and some more of the acetate that I printed and a little bead. And that is on that handmade paper. And now this is where it gets a little tricky because this is actually the little book on the internal jump rings. So let's just flip back to the beginning. And then if we go and we find that back panel of that book that we just looked at, it's going to flip this way. And then here's a panel. And then this one, I'm going to take these off now. I had these on here just to do a flip through for a reel, and you have to go kind of fast, so it was giving me fits. But this, just for fun, that's a flip up. And this is just a lovely quote on some watercolor paper. And that flips down. So the vellum inside the frame is over the quote. I love the way that looks. And then we're going to flip this back. And then this is going to flip like this. I love that bead charm. And then this one on this side also flips up. And there's another quote on more watercolor paper. Then on this panel in here, we have a tag that comes out. And that's a layered acetate tag. And it's plain on the back if you want to write on it. And this is some lovely handmade paper. Here's the thing about vellum. You have to be, or vellum and acetate, actually, you have to be kind of careful with the gluing. Mostly the glue will show at least a little, even if you're really careful. So I like to do a lot of things that hide the glue, like the frames, or like this tag. I just punched it and I tied it with the ribbon to hold it there. Staples also work really good with acetate. Punching the holes and then using a jump ring for multiple layers. You can try glue. It does a lot of times end up showing. And then what's on the tag shows through the vellum in the frame. So we're going to flip that. And then this, of course, is the back panel. So 2 tags in here. And this is a piece of handmade paper behind this panel. That's I used gilding flakes on that handmade paper. That was a little tricky, but once I had it figured out, I really liked it. You just really have to use extra glue and then push those gilding flakes into the embossed texture of the paper. And then here again is just layered acetate on handmade paper and a jump ring and a bead that hold it together. So once again, I didn't use glue or tape or anything that might show and kind of mar the acetate. And there's just a quote on vellum and then on a tag using a staple rather than glue or anything nasty. So let's, not that glue's nasty, but it's nasty when it shows and it doesn't look right. So then we've got another side to look at. And the best way that we're going to do this is to start from the back and open it. And here's a big frame panel. And in here, there is a tag you can use for writing on. And that's just held together with a brad. So you can just take the brad out and write or do whatever you'd like, and then put the brad back at the top and then keep it in the pocket. And there's still room in the pocket. You can put in anything else you like. And then I just bumped the camera. I'm sorry, you guys. And then the blue makes that butterfly on the acetate kind of show up. And the next page is also a pocket. And there's a bunch of stuff in the pocket. There's a little collage tag and some writing paper on the back. And then 2 of the film strip tags with vellum, acetate, and wax seals. And you can also write on the back of those. I put some journaling paper back there. So these go in first. Like this. Well, they're giving me a hassle, so let's go this way. There we go. So these go in first. And then I wanted to showcase that butterfly a little bit. And that's kind of the point of this gold paper, is when you stick this in, it's gonna line up. It really is. It's getting caught on something. Oh, the vellum. So when you stick it in, maybe we'll just put everything all together and stick that in, and then that gold paper is going to kind of help that butterfly to show up a little bit better. So that was kind of my genius idea there. Now we're getting back into that little book. So there's that flip frame, and there's that one, and then we're at the front again. And there's the little book within the book. So that is the journal. And I'm trying to take a second and think if there's any other tips I have for acetate and vellum. Oh, vellum, you have to be kind of careful because it'll rip, like the pressure of it. But depending on the vellum, and especially if you have a thicker heavyweight vellum, vellum looks gorgeous when you run it through your embosser and put an embossed pattern on it. That's one of my favorite things to do. You just have to make sure that your vellum is pretty sturdy. And then, because this is one of my favorite things to do with these, because so much of the ephemera comes out, just in case you want to have some fun and switch things up. Yep, I've got a whole set of ephemera that goes with it. So this is the bag that will store all the ephemera. It's just a gusseted bag that will hold everything. And then this is the biggest frame tag in there with a wax seal and some of this pretty paper on the back. And there's a layered tag. So a quote with a frame, gold paper, and this pretty gold tag all layered up like that. And this is a quote with gold dot vellum and this really pretty paper on the back. And this is a tag with a frame with some of the acetate from Fiona's shop, embossed on the back. Just a frame, some gilded embossed paper on the back of the frame, a journaling card with a little wax seal and space to write on the back, a smaller little layered film strip clip with pretty paper on the back, and then just two little tiny slide mount frames, and those are blue on the back. So that set is included with the tag book, and those are in my Etsy shop now. And then please be sure to go check out Fiona's shop, Lavender Blue Journals. And if you have any questions for me about any of the stuff that I was talking about or about my journal, please be sure that you drop it down below and I will respond promptly. Thanks so much for watching. I wish you guys every blessing. Have a wonderful day.